Can you explain about I-944? Says, thanks, you're welcome. Well, Form I-944 was one of the achievements of the administration to really hurt immigration to the United States because they couldn't figure out other ways to do it. And Form I-944 is a USCIS form that you submit when you're applying for adjustment of status in most types of cases. And the goal of that is to analyze to see whether the foreign person who's getting a green card can afford to support themselves in the United States. So they look at, see if you have health insurance or not, how much income and assets you have, how many debts you have. Do you, I might have said you have health insurance or not. Do you have any bankruptcies in the past? Have you used public services in the United States? Have you got money from the federal government, for example, to help you? That's a major negative. And they take this and credit reports and a myriad of other stuff, education background, English language skills, certifications, licenses, all of this kind of stuff, and they leave it up to an officer to make a determination in the totality of the circumstances. Do you think this person is going to be a public charge in the United States? Are they going to cost U.S. taxpayers money? And so they may approve it, they may not. Now, when this rule came into effect, it was, I think, February 24th. Soon afterwards, they shut down most of the cases that require this Form I-994 because I-944, I can't remember, but because of COVID-19. So we really don't know what is going on and how they're going to adjudicate these cases, because as we've been talking about a lot of people are asking, when is my adjustment of status green card review? We don't know. They're not scheduling those. So everyone who submitted Form I-944 affidavit declaration of self-sufficiency has really not been adjudicated. Maybe a few that we don't know about, I don't know about, but in general, they have not been adjudicated yet. So we don't know how strict they're going to be on this. Is this going to be a thing that leads to a lot of denials? Maybe yes, maybe no. And where this comes from is the administration wanting to take away, in particular, the ability for a U.S. citizen to be able to apply for their parents' green card. And so the way that it's written, the I-944, if you're above a certain age, if you're retired, if you have health issues that could potentially lead you to go to hospital, it makes it much easier for them to deny your green card case. And that really goes towards parents of U.S. citizens. So it's a back channel way of denying those kind of cases. So if you do have a parent of a U.S. citizen case applying for a green card within the United States, you really need to consult an attorney to create a very strong case for the I-944 Declaration of Self-Sufficiency to show that the parent could support themselves, they have the support to support them, and they speak English, have health insurance, have education, have training, have blah, 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 all this kind of stuff to help make it a stronger case. But it's going to be a nightmare. Depending on how strict they're going to take it, it could easily be a way that's going to hide massive denials on immigration cases based on discretion in the interpretation of the officer handling your case. So just bad news, let's put it that way. And it's also doubled the amount of time and paperwork that I as the attorney need to do. And as you would think, it has also changed the legal fee. Now it's hard to double up the fees all of a sudden on people. So what's happened is it's crushed a lot of lawyers and because there's so much more work on their plate, but it's hard to just jack up the price because it's put a lot of pressure on people. But to be frank, that's been a major issue as well. So we got to think about ways to try to make it easier on people, the financial burden. But it's created a lot of additional work, a lot of headaches to be able to abide by it. And the instructions aren't clear for the form necessarily. We don't have examples of how it's done. And the administration says if they feel like a case is not done perfectly, they could just deny it because of that. So it's like a crazy situation. It's really just crazy. But we'll see. We'll see how strict this is, if the next administration could get rid of it. When, if, for example, President Trump doesn't get reelected and a new person comes into place, can they get rid of it? Because when bureaucracies anywhere in the world, once you start a program, it's really hard to pull it back. And so this is just a major issue. And Jignish said, how they check burden on U.S. taxpayers? How do they check if it's a burden? These people will be, well, it's just the judgment of the officer. Now, most of the USCIS officers are pretty cool I've talked with. They have understanding. They've been frustrated about this. That when I've talked to them saying like, oh, I can't believe they're having us do this. But you know, they do all sorts of analysis. We don't even know. Jimmy says, do they check for the last few years? Well, they ask about information about your financial background for the I-944. So it's a deep analysis that goes in there that we don't even know how it's going to be done, how they're going to have the time to do it, how mistakes are going to happen. They want you to print out your credit reports. The officer is going to review a credit report. They want you to print out, not only show that you have health insurance, and the way they want it is so difficult. You have to have proof of health insurance of when it starts and when it ends on official paperwork from the health insurance company. And then they want to see a list of the benefits you get so they could judge to see whether the deductible is too high or is too low and what's covered and what's not. You know, I'm in the U.S. I was born here. I can't understand health insurance paperwork. I'm sure a lot of you can't either. It's so complicated. So you just buy it not knowing what you get, what you can get, because it's just a booklet of all this complicated information. How are they going to do it? The credit reports. You know, if you're foreign, you don't have a social security number, how are you going to get a credit report? They haven't given us good instructions on that. So it's just a nightmare from the beginning to end. There has to be a complete revamp of it if it's going to continue. But we'll see. I think this is intentional to make things more difficult and to higher and increase the denial rate, especially for parents of U.S. citizens and people who have large family sizes. So if you apply for your brother and sister and then your brother has a lot of children, now it's not the I-944, it's the DS-5540 through consular processing through the embassy, but that's a way to get larger family sizes or people who don't speak English well. So it's a different ways of really hurting the immigration community, so be prepared for that. That's down the line. It's going to start popping up. We're going to be hearing the stories about this really soon as the adjustment of status interviews start to pick up. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please click subscribe down here and ring that bell to get the latest updates. Also, please follow us at the links above on these various social media sites to catch the latest information, live videos, and more to help you be updated on U.S. immigration.